We're back for another Jags Den Coach's Corner with Coach Will Smith, Spain Park Baseball Boys head coach. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing great. How are you, George?
Doing good. So far, 8 games, 7-1. You got to seem to like a little bit where you're at. Bats seem to have come along this weekend. Talk a little bit about what you've seen in the first week so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we knew kind of coming into the season that we had a lot of guys that have had varsity baseball experience, kind of throughout our order. I've been very pleased with, the offensive numbers and the offensive stats that we put up so far. We're beginning to pitch it a lot better, and I think the key, moving forward is the way we play defense. To be honest with you, I mean, as the games that have been tied, the ones that have been competitive, we've not done a very good job either. On the mound, we've given up too many freebies. We've kicked balls around here and there, or we've not done a good job of situational hitting.
You notice early in the first couple of games, I think sometimes it's natural, sitting in the 3-4 errors per game mark. There was one exception that looked like it was an outlier this weekend with 7 errors in a game. But other than that, last 4 or 5 games, you've really seemed to tighten that up a little bit. Do you just attribute that to everybody settling in, or how kind of knocked down the errors the last couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think that with the infielders that we've got, a couple of them are playing different positions, and a couple of them are trying to do too much really early. As opposed to we want to secure the catch. Once we secure the catch, then throw it. We were trying to throw it before we caught it, and that led to some errors. And I think it's a confidence thing too. The more reps you get, the more kind of in a routine that you get, the more confidence that you get behind it as well.
Are you seeing that a little bit too with the pitching? I noticed one day, senior night, we ended up being down by the bullpen, and a lot of the pitchers were eager to get in down there. And you could hear a few of them just talking, nobody specifically, but really want to get in and make their mark early with the pitching staff. Do you think some of the pitchers a little bit early getting in, trying to do just a little bit too much?
I think so. I think without question, especially with the number of pitchers that we have. We've had to kind of figure that out, and early on we got to see who can help us, and so I never want a kid ever in a game to feel like there's pressure on them. I think that affects performance, but then we've got to go with guys that compete, that throw strikes, that limit those freebies that we just talked about.
Yeah. And then if you think again, you go back and look at some of the stats from the first week of the season, games that you're extremely competitive in, the amount of walks your pitchers are given are down. The games have been a little bit closer and a little bit more of a dogfight, that you've given a lot more freebies. And I think if you go back and look at the stats, almost all the time those guys seem to score. So
it's amazing. It's amazing how they score. 2 out walks, just those things give me a lot of gray hair.
So you talked a little bit about a guy who's playing different positions. It seems like you have a lot of flexibility in the middle infield this year. Evan Smallwood's been a staple on varsity for 3 years now, but he played shortstop. He's over at second now. Aiden Burke is up. But it seems like you got some different combinations that you can flip some guys back and forth to give you that flexibility. Is that something you've had every year, or is that something kind of unique this year?
No, I think it's unique this year. We're still missing 2 infielders. We're still missing 2 infielders that are currently with our basketball team. They're in the Final Four that are going to give us some depth there. Richard Moon's a guy that's been kind of a utility guy that can play really any 3 of those. And James Battersby playing third, really full time for the first time this year. We're just trying to mix and match and trying to find the correct pieces to the puzzle as we move forward.
Talk a little bit about going down to Gulf Shores this weekend. It's important. A good trip, get a couple of games in back to back to back, and kind of get a rhythm of playing. But I think a lot of coaches would say that trip is as much about the games as it is about the time together and building as a team. Did you feel like the team kind of bonded some this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was a great trip. For years, we've gone over to East Alabama and played in whether it be Auburn High School, Smith Station, Opelika, Phoenix City. We've spent a couple of years in the Troy tournament. And it had been a while since we had been to the Gulf Shores or Orange Beach area. So being able to get away and go down there and play new teams, new faces in different venues. And I think the unique thing about it is it was a 3-day trip. So we were able to spend 2 nights. Most of our trips that we take, is a Friday, spend Friday night, come back Saturday. So we're able to spend a little bit more time off the field together, and I think that was very unique. The place that we stayed was very, very friendly for the guys being able to get out, go eat lunch together, those type of things. And we're very fortunate, very blessed to have a great booster club, parents, because stuff like that isn't cheap.
No, it isn't. But we've done it in basketball, and it pays dividends not only on the court or on the field, but also throughout the year just with the team bonding. And that's one thing that, again, being down there, watching and talking to some of the parents and listening to the bullpen, this team seems to have a lot of confidence in each other. And I think some of that comes from your 12 seniors that you have that have played so long together. But I also think it just seems like, again, this is a team that, with some of the juniors that have come up from JV, they've accepted them, and it seems like that they all have a lot of confidence in each other. Have you seen the
No, there's no question. I mean, it starts with our 12 seniors. Out of the 12 seniors, 3 of them have been with us. Ryan Cole, Cole Edwards, and Evan Smallwood have started on the varsity for the last 3 years, and then we've got others that that were starters last year. So it's a veteran group. It starts with them, but we've had the junior class has had a lot of success too. They had a lot of success their freshman season, as well as their sophomore season last year. So there are a lot of good players in that group as well, and that's what we're fighting right now. What we're trying to figure out is what's the right role for them, what's the correct position for them, the right. From a starting pitcher, are they more of a back end type role? Just trying to figure those things out, and the sooner we figure out, the more complete of a team that we'll be.
I talked a little bit about Clay Spencer. He finished the year very hot last year. In fact, we talked to him senior night. He said one of his best moments, favorite moments, was when he hit that double down the line against Gaston City to win that game. He seems to have kind of picked up where he left off, but he also, with the bat, he's stroking it very well, but he also seems to be catching with a lot of confidence right now, which again I think has got to probably be an asset for you when you're trying to figure out some roles for some pitchers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, it's a kid that he wasn't necessarily on the varsity team as a sophomore, but he was around it a lot. We took Clay to most of our area games, our playoff games, and he was used as our bullpen catcher, but he got that experience. He got that experience and that taste of what area baseball and playoff baseball is all about. Had a lot of success, really had a lot of success in area play last year. Followed it up with a good summer this past summer with Top Gun, and he brought that confidence, into his senior season. And it doesn't hurt being in your senior season, your first 3 games, you're hitting 850. It would be crazy to think that that's going to continue, but it's a great way to start the season, and that veteran type leadership, and Clay's a type of guy that the kids gravitate to and they look up to, and to have him back there as a catcher, and he's taken some ownership and accountability of those guys, and that's been a big role that we've needed him to take.
So last week we talked a little bit about the adjustments in the area. I know there's a proposal on the table that was moving more from an area to a regional scenario, which actually is, you mentioned last week that you wished more games kind of mattered, and that seems to be the prevailing sentiment around. It all seemed like that proposal was going to pass to go to more of an 18 regional format, and then it kind of got pulled off the table. Is that something that you think we'll see potentially move to after this season, or is that tabled for a period of time?
Yeah, I mean, we were under the impression, I guess it was like late April, middle April, that it was going to go into effect for the 2023 season. We'd already had our schedules drawn up, and we were going to play region play just like football was. And you're talking about a brutal, tough schedule. I mean, it was going to be literally the SEC when you combine it with the area that we've got now, and then you throw in the Hoovers and the Tuscaloosa counties and Thompson and Vestavias, it was going to be a very, very difficult for all 8 teams involved. I think that will be something that will be in place sooner rather than later. Especially in the large school type division. I think that kind of the holdback is does it fit, and is it the best fit for some of the smaller classification schools, and with the travel that's involved here or there. But I do think that eventually for 5A, 6A, 7A that it will be a region type in a region type format.
So you're on the road tomorrow at Tuscaloosa County, and then I believe you're home again this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. What are you looking for your team to? What improvements are you wanting them to make from week 1 to week 2? What are 2 or 3 things that you really want to see them really focus and improve on this week?
Well, I'll start out by saying tomorrow night's game is going to be a dogfight. I mean that Tuscaloosa County. I don't know if they've had polls out or anything like that, but in my opinion, they're a top 5 team in the state, and it's always very, very difficult to play them in Northport. So we're going to have our hands full for sure tomorrow night. I mean, they're a lot like us. They've got an experienced group back, a lot of starters back from the year before. So it's going to be a true test. Obviously we want to continue to swing the bat well offensively. And like I said, we want to get back to just playing clean baseball, limiting the amount of walks and hit by pitches, misplayed ground ball, misplayed fly ball, and play clean baseball throughout. And I think if we can do that, we'll take our chances. And offensively, like I said, if it's a lot easier to get hits and driving runs in an 8-0 game, but the pitching's only going to get better and better moving forward. But in a 2-1 game, it's a lot tougher to hit, and that's and we'll get into those games as the season progresses on, because that's eventually what it's going to look like in area play. When you get into area play, it's not going to be a 10-8 game. It's going to be a 3-2 ball game, a 4-2 ball game. And how are you going to be able to handle when the score is so there's such a fine line between winning and losing.
Okay, Coach, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I just look forward to, each week kind of has its own test of its own, and of course, the Tuscaloosa County, Grissom, Prattville, Marbury this week. I mean, we're gonna have our hands full again, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to seeing how the guys respond today at practice. Or are they going to come back? Oh, we're ready to take the next step, or is it going to be something we're going to have to push them through? But very interested and very excited about playing tomorrow night. Like I said, I do think it's going to be a really good test for these guys, and that's the point we're going to try to drive home today in practice.
Yeah, compliment to you and your staff real quick. And again, it's something that was fun to see on senior night. And I know it's senior night, but lots of the youth out here, lots of the Jag elite out here, feeling a part of the program. Cheering on the seniors and watching and staying for the game. And so I know it means a lot to the boys, and we seem to have a pretty good crowd on for senior night. And I know you're wanting a big crowd this weekend, so we'll put something out there to make sure everybody gets their tickets and comes out, because I think you described it the best the first time we talked. This is going to be an exciting brand of baseball this year, and it definitely has been exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, without question. I mean, I think seeing the young kids come out, they bring their parents, and it takes it back to a community type field, or a community feel, and you love seeing the young ones wear the SP hats, the jerseys, because I can remember when this senior group were doing the same thing outside the fence, coming to our games, when we were making playoff runs, and now they're a part of it, and it's just amazing how time flies.
Well, good luck to you this week, Coach. We look forward. We'll be down there in Tuscaloosa County with you tomorrow night, and definitely here this weekend. And thanks for joining us once again. We look forward to talking to you again next week.
Go Jags.
Go Jags.